But when you look at the offense, especially the last 2 days, I know we talked a little bit yesterday just as to how you're starting to see the collective of the group, 1 through 9, really starting to feed off of each other. How do you hope to see that kind of carry over into this series? And what do you think has stood out to you just in specific in these last 2 games in which this offense has gotten back on track?
You know, 2 of the guys we've seen a lot as far as the starters. You know, Paddock and Sandy. The second day guy, we haven't seen him. But I think for us it's just having those team at bats, creating stress, taking walks when needed. I think Teo's done a good job of that, you know, last couple nights. And, you know, being able to hit to all fields. And it's kind of, you know, right now, I think we're leading baseball in batting average, which I think is a good thing in the sense of being able to hit outfield grass, put the ball in play. And so for me, hopefully we can just continue to stay on that track.
With what you've seen with Shohei and Kyle, just maybe these little few adjustments and those 2 specifically getting back on track, do you feel like they're now in a good spot that they can be a little bit more consistent? I do.
I think that, you know, with Shohei, I think that his decision-making has been better the last couple days. And with Kyle, I think the quality of contact and decision-making has been better. So, yeah, when you get those 2 guys doing what they're supposed to do, it sort of makes, you know, the lineup that much better.
There were stretches during the second half of last year, especially where like one bad week of kind of lack of quality at bats would linger. Like, what is it about these last couple of days that helped you guys kind of right the ship after, you know, just like one bad week's and a half of it?
You know, I think that last year in particular, we just really had a hard time getting a base hit and, you know, building an inning, you know, in that stretch, which was certainly pretty long. I think this year, coming into this year, we wanted to be able to, you know, be better hitters. And I think that will hopefully kind of limit the long stretches of not swinging well, which hopefully we're over that little swell that we were in, the swoon. But yeah, I think that was part of that, and I think up and down the line that we have guys that are pretty dang good hitters, and so now you layer that with decision making and controlling of the strike zone, you know, pretty good formula. So I think that should carry over into this series.
How do you prioritize like the being a better hitter thing?
What's that?
How do you like prioritize or emphasize the being a better hitter thing team-wise?
I prioritize it, you know, certainly specific to run creation and hitting. I prioritize it. It's more of it's layered, where I think the swing is just the swing and more mechanical, where I think that, you know, hitting, you know, covers the approach, you know, how they're gonna, what you're trying to do to a pitcher, what he's trying to do to you, you know, the situation, the scoreboard. That's an approach to hitting, and I think the hitting lends itself to adjustability within a pitch as it's coming to you and moving. So I think for me, prioritizing, have a plan, have an idea what you're trying to do is probably at the top.
Steve, there was some discourse when they first implemented the platoon on the playing time between Alex and Haesung. How have you seen them adjust to their roles over the last couple of weeks that's allowed them both to find the success that you were seeing or hoping to see?
Well, I think, you know, yeah, so obviously, you know, you lose Mookie, big loss, you know, bring in Haesung here, feeling that sort of platoon could work. And then, you know, for me, it's also layering on the fact that I don't want to overexpose Miguel Rojas as far as kind of just the age and just playing every day and things like that, pick our spots with Miggy. And so for Haesung to really be able to handle short, it's allowed for more opportunities for both guys. And so I think it's been a good kind of balance in playing time and not trying to overexpose either of those 2 guys.
Does Shohei pitching on 5 days rest tomorrow affect whether he'll hit at all, or do you see this as, yeah? What would you look at when making that decision?
What would I look at? The effect that it might have on him in the ensuing days, if it would. Yeah, so it's up for consideration.
Does it factor into playing Wednesday the day game as well?
Yeah, all that matters, yeah.
How about his batting order? Lead off, as in lead off.
If he were to play, he would hit leadoff.
Dave, how is he taken to this, like the ongoing conversation about what?
Hopefully he doesn't put too much weight into it. I don't talk to him too much about it, to be quite honest, but he is well aware of what's being said about him. But again, I don't think, the day-to-day, I think right now all he's thinking about is today, and then, at some point in time I'll have a conversation with him.
Dave, today Mookie was just out there doing some defense. Obviously, you've seen he and Tommy doing some sprint work. How much closer is Mookie to a potential rehab assignment?
Yeah, today he ran well. I watched him from afar. It looked really good. I think he's getting close. I'm kind of hesitant to, I haven't heard definitively on when he's going to get sent out, when and if. Most likely when. So I'm hesitant to kind of say when, and it's more day-to-day, but I would assume that there would be a live session here at home, that he'll take some live at-bats before he goes out. So that's kind of what I'm waiting to hear.
Yoshinobu has not missed the qualifying 40 starts since opening day. Yoshinobu never. And then, but in the he gave up runs in the first inning, last two outings. And then, do you think he needs to approach in the first inning different?
Yeah, the last couple outings, I think, yeah, there was a 3 spot the last one, and then I'm not sure what he gave up in the 2 starts ago. The first inning for a starter is the hardest inning. It's the hardest inning, just to get the feel of the game. I would still say that he prepares very well, so I'm not too concerned about the last 2 outings, giving up a run in the first inning, because it's the hardest inning for most pitchers, most starting pitchers, to get comfortable.
But forgive me for going back to yesterday, but Justin Robleski has a tremendous amount of confidence. How would you describe the amount of confidence that he brings to the mound every time he pitches?
Real confidence. Yeah, it's real confidence. I mean, he's confident. I think as a younger player, he's probably looked at as cocky, but he believes in his ability. He's not afraid. So yeah, he's got a pretty good stat line right now, and there's been a handful of pivotal innings that could have changed that early on, and he's made pitches and bowed his neck to get out of big spots, to kind of see where the stat line is at right now, and that takes a lot of confidence and conviction and toughness.